Well, welcome to this first installment of, we're going to call this show Don't Watch This, right? Because we figured if we called it Don't Watch This, people would watch it. You know, it's like sort of an old P.T. Barnum kind of thing. Who are we? Well, we're three bald guys from Grace Bible Church in Pompton Plains. Maybe because we're bald, we're smarter. The brain heats up so hot that we just lose our hair. We just want to talk about Christianity. We want to investigate some of the claims of Christianity. And we want to put this out on YouTube and have people check it out and watch us and say, either these guys are complete idiots or these guys are making some good points. They know what they're talking about. And maybe come check out the church, because what people are going to see here and here is very similar to what we're trying to do on a weekly basis in the Sunday morning church service. Just talk to people. Just talk to them about God. And so we want to hit sort of hot topic stuff. You know, hot button issues. Maybe tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how do we know there's a God? What good evidence is there that a God even exists? And maybe we'll talk a little bit about what is authentic Christianity versus dead religiosity, you know, or what their preconceived notions about what Christianity might be. So that's why we're doing this. It'd be dangerous to watch this YouTube show because you might learn something. And then you end up talking to your friends about it or family members, and then you get in debates with them, and it goes from there. But that's what it's about, isn't it? Learning things, not just holding on to, dogmatically the same beliefs all your life. You know, we're in transition, and we're always learning as we go. So why don't we start by me just asking you guys to introduce yourself. George, we'll start with you, and then tell us why you're a Christian.
All right, well, I'm George Lubis. I have been Greek Orthodox in my life. I have been an atheist, an agnostic, a Taoist. Almost became a Muslim.
Wow.
I studied Islam for a while and almost converted to Islam. And born again Christian, evangelical Christian. Became a Christian because it was the only thing that made sense. And actually the short version is I started to read the Bible to prove to a born-again Christian that she was an idiot and that she was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I wanted so desperately to prove to her that she was wrong, this young lady who started to share the gospel with me, that I started to read Bertrand Russell's Why I'm Not a Christian, C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity, and the Bible, all at the same time. So I'd have everything covered.
That's a lethal combination.
Right, and I wanted to be able to talk. The only thing I knew about born-again Christians is I never wanted to sit next to one on a bus. Annoying. Mm-hmm. And
so George, why did you settle on Christianity? I know you said it was the only one that made sense.
Well, the reality, Frank, is I spent a week, a couple months into all this, at one point I spent a week every night praying, Lord, if you're really there, show me myself as I really am. And I woke up in tears on Friday morning because God gave me a glimpse of how I was.
Okay.
At the time I was very, very successful in the music business. I was making an enormous amount of money, but I was really arrogant and really selfish, and all my money went to me, and God just kind of revealed it. I was like, wow, man, I'm not this great guy that I thought I was.
Okay. Mike Fraschi, tell us a little bit about, why are you a Christian, Mike?
In 1978, we were just shortly out of high school. I was landscaping, actually, with a friend of mine that summer. And he had gotten saved the summer before and would come in every day talking about Jesus. So we'd be out there doing our thing, cutting lawns and whatnot, and this guy would come in every day just going like, man, I was reading this last night, I was reading that.
So he was one of these annoying
I was so bummed. It was beyond belief. The stuff that I was thinking, it was like, would this guy just shut up? And this went on for quite some time, most of the summer at that point. And so one day he actually asked me if I wanted to pray to become a born-again Christian. And quite honestly, the thing that I remember thinking at the time was, if I just do this, he'll probably shut up and leave me alone. So, that was, there's no question that was the motivation. I was was like, let me just get rid of this fool once and for all. So I prayed the prayer with him and whatnot, and had no intention of following up on it at all. He invited me to a Bible study. Young pastor at the time that was just out of Bible college. And, I had grown up in the Catholic church, going every Sunday with my parents, and you got to sit there and nobody could make a, move or make a sound. And the thing was just, for me at that age, and this is not a knock on the Catholic church at all, but for me at that age, I just didn't get it. It was mundane. It was just so ritualistic. My mind would just wander. So anyway, he invites me down to this Bible study. So again, my thought behind that was, like I said, let me just see what this fool is involved with, because I'm thinking more or less along the lines that this has got to be some wacky cult or something.
Right.
So I said, let me go down there and check out what this guy's into. It was a Tuesday night, I'll never forget it. Went down there, we just sat around somebody's living room on the floor. And I listened to this guy talk about the scriptures, not my friend, but this young pastor that had come down from the seminary. And man, it was like the Bible became instantaneously like so interesting to me. Like I had never heard anybody actually talk about the Bible where it sounded like, I was like, wow, this is incredible, And it basically, right from that point on, right there, I wanted to keep going back. I very quickly got a Bible of my own and had started a love affair with basically going through the scriptures and unraveling all this. To me, it's the most interesting book in the entire world. But like I said, my motivation going into it wasn't one of curiosity. Of looking for the truth, more or less, but just really curiosity in my mind to see just how insane this guy was and what he was into.
But curiosity got the better of you, really. Once you started investigating this thing, it got a hold on you.
No question.
And that's what Christ does. That's what Christianity does. If it's genuine, it grabs a hold of you. It grabs a hold of you by the throat. And in a good way, it never lets go. I can understand how people's preconceived notions about religion. I went to Catholic school myself for a while, and I felt the same way. For me, it was a very dark experience, and it might have been in other religions as well. The thing about Christianity is it became a living thing for me, it sort of exuded joy and contentment and purpose and meaning. And it reached me where I was. It was not some sort of dry bones, formalism, liturgical kind of thing that was saying, you will conform or else.
Things started to make sense on a larger
Exactly. And we all have those questions, right? Who am I? It all starts there. Why am I here? I remember as a kid, I'd be 11 or 12 years old laying in bed at that age, and my grandmother had died. I was the first person in my family that actually died. First person that I was ever close to that died, and I thought, I'm going to die. My grandmother has ended. She's come to a conclusion, and that's going to happen to me, and where is Grandma? Yeah. Because you hear about, so many people die, but until somebody dies in front of you, so to speak, it doesn't hit you. And then, high school friends died, and on, and I thought to myself, where are these people? And then I ended up in a hospital without going into a long story. I had a lot of drug use in my life and alcohol abuse and a bunch of other things. I ended up in the hospital really sick. And I remember lying in St. Joe's in Patterson, textbook. I'm crying out saying, they got me loaded up with morphine. And I'm crying out saying, God, if you're there, spare me. Let me live. I had Lisa, I just started dating Lisa and I was madly in love with her. And I wanted to get on with life. I didn't want to die. And I thought, what if I die right here and there really is a hell? There really is. And I too would blow off these Christians and make fun of them and mock them in my high school and all of that. And they'd come to school with Bibles and sit in the cafeteria and try to...
Can I give you a track?
Yeah, I was like, no. But we have to know what we're talking about because I have the iPad. So we have to be right.